going on, everyone? It's Wednesday, May 6th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host for today, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett, keeping everything clean behind the boards. It's a new day. It's a new start. We're starting fresh here. New intro music, because you know what happened last night? Our Leafs! We did it! First overall! What an incredible night. Honestly, I wouldn't believe you if you told me that happened yesterday, but Leafs ended up coming with the first overall pick. We'll talk about that in just a second here. Before we get into the show, do us a favor, smash the like button. We got a loaded show for you guys today. Curious to hear your opinion on the guests, because we got Rob coming up, batting leadoff, 12:05. Going to talk some NHL, take a look at some series prices. Maybe we got to start a series counter at some point. And then after that, you're going to talk about the games for tonight. We got Montreal, Buffalo, Vegas, and Anaheim. Should be a lot of fun. Also, oh my God, what a heartbreaking loss in that Minnesota, Colorado. If you were riding the first period under with me, I am so sorry. That died in 2 minutes, 4 minutes. I will say, I would make that bet again. I think we were on the right side there. Just got absolutely cooked with 3 goals in the first period. Just some incredibly awful goaltending there. After Rob, we got Geoff Fienberg, Geoff on Golf coming on. We're going to talk a little bit about the Truist Championship and the Myrtle Beach Classic. Also going to see if he's going to be back on the Leafs bandwagon now that they own the first overall pick. And then finally, we close out the show with Mr. Peanut Butter. NBA series prices. Let's talk some round 2, talk the games tonight. And I also have I don't want to sell him on a conference finals MVP, but I want to get his opinion on this one, because I think there's a player out there 70-1 right now. I think the top players on each team are soaking up a little bit too much equity. So I want to get his opinion on that. Yes, Robin talking about the full game under as well. That was a tough way to lose the full game under there. I think we were on the right side. I think we had a good opinion on that game. It just didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. Yeah, that's it. That's for today's show. I also have a bet for the end of the show, NHL bet. Maybe you can guess what it is. If you want to try and guess what it is in the chat, you can, and we'll let you know if you're right. But I started off the show with it. Can you believe it? The Leafs get the first overall pick. I see all these clips on Twitter. I see O-Dog going absolutely insane. The Leafs got first. Come on, give us first. We got it. I see the Dangle guys. I see, who else was it? Overdrive. Tons of these live streams of these people, of the Leafs getting the first overall pick, Sid 6-0. Everyone's once that last ball comes up, they're begging that we're first. I don't know how people did that in their head. I see that the 3 balls came up. Once the 4th ball came up, I'm just praying that we didn't get bumped. I didn't even care about the first overall pick. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I didn't even think it was achievable. I thought it was impossible for us to get. And we ended up getting it, and I was literally in shock. I was in awe. I called 2 of my best friends, big Leaf fans, and we weren't even speaking English. We were speaking gibberish to each other. We couldn't even put together the words to say the elation we felt. It's absolutely incredible. I cannot believe the Leafs landed the first overall pick. If you live in the Toronto area, get ready for everyone and your mother to suddenly become the best, the greatest, the brightest prospect minds out there. They're going to be telling you every which way about who the Leafs should be picking, why the McKenna's better than Stenberg, or why Reed should be the first overall pick, or why Matt Holtz should be the first overall pick. They have the best eye. Everyone's suddenly going to become the expert. It's almost like the Kentucky Derby all over again. All right. I'm going to get into this with Rob because I want to hear his opinions on this. Ecole, we'll circle back to that one. I like that, Ecole, in the chat there. Just quickly before we get into things, we want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at FanDuel. This show is brought to you by FanDuel NBA fans. This is your reminder to check in daily, because every day during the playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. We're talking special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and so much more. And the best part is, it is every single day. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for primetime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's happening for you today, because once happy hour hits, it won't last forever. Check for a new reward every single day on the NBA playoff apps, on FanDuel app for the NBA playoffs, and don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. It must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas affiliates, Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In New York, call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. Let's do this thing. I also want to hear people's opinion in the chat. New intro, no mention of it. I want to hear the chat's thoughts. I was shocked. I thought we'd get at least one message for it, but no, we want to get right into the betting, right into the Leafs first overall pick. So much to talk about today, and we're going to get into all of that with our first guest. Here's the CEO of the Hammer Betting Network and NHL Bettor. He's a big Leafs fan. Rob, how's it going?
It's going well, man. It's a great day to be a Leafs fan.
It truly is, and I before we even get into things, I heard you had a huge night last night. Obviously, being a Leafs fan, you went out to get tacos. How was that?
Cinco de Mayo. I went to 3 mariachis up in Woodbridge and went for the mariachi trio number 2 with a birria taco, a chicken taco, and a fish taco. And fantastic. But I had my phone out on the table. I forgot that the draft lottery was, and my phone just started blowing up. And I didn't know what was going on for a while. And then I realized what was happening, and I crushed some churros afterwards in celebration because, 8.5% chance. I'll take the Leafs winning the lottery, even if people are going to say the next day that it's all fixed and it's all right. Like, how come we're not talking about San Jose moving up to 2?
Yeah,
it's just all about the Leafs, you know? Like this whole like Biz Nasty thing that's going on Barstool, where he's like not even a Leafs fan anymore. He's not. This is all. It's way too far. Like, what a horrendous reaction around the league.
I actually don't know if this is a quick side note. I don't know if the Biz thing is a bit. Like, it seems like it's a bit, but he's like pretty close to the guys in Arizona, and he's pretty close with Doan. And like, the word on the street is that people didn't like the way that Chaika handled things with Shane Doan towards the end of his career when he was 41 years old, which is kind of ridiculous. But like, whatever, it is what it is. But if that's how he feels, like maybe he's a loyalty guy and he likes to stick with Doan over the team. Over the crest. Like, that's my take on it.
Here's what I got to say about that. Okay, you can be mad at John Chaika for whatever you want to be mad. The Shane Doan situation, the guy was an old geezer at the time. Like, that's it. It's not like Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. You know, it's not like an all-time legend of the game. Like, Shane Doan was a great player for a long time, but at some point you got to say, you know, we're building an NHL roster here. See you later. But like, maybe he didn't handle it the right way. I don't know about the conversations that happened behind the scenes, but the whole, like, the Biz Nasties, I mean, it's tough with Barstool. I watch a lot of Barstool content, and I never know what's real and what's not, to be honest. I think there's like kind of like a playbook for how to drum up controversy and engagement online that a lot of people use. Portnoy is an expert at that. Feels to me like the next time the Leafs are in the playoffs, Jason, Biz Nasty will be wearing a Leafs jersey and cheering on the Leafs.
I hope so. I listen. I'm welcoming everyone back in on the bandwagon. We had one of the most ethical tanks of all time, Craig Berube, one of the worst head coaches, but we stuck it through. That's the thing.
It's not like we're resting guys every single night. Like, we were legitimately shit. Our team sucks. We need the first overall pick. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm just excited for all the conversations over the summer with the uncles and like the experts. Everyone's all of a sudden an OHL college hockey expert
already.
This is the guy.
The Leafs need to trade the first pick, and they have to get, like, you know, I don't know whichever defenseman is supposed to go like 3rd or 4th overall. It's like the Leafs don't need another skill player. They need to. It's like this is the NHL, people. You draft the best player available regardless of the position. It does. You don't just draft a D-man now because you're going to need one in 4. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You had the first overall pick fall into your lap. We've been talking about this guy forever. He looked amazing at the World Juniors. Guy put up, 130 points in junior last year. Like, don't galaxy brain this into like, oh, yeah, we need to move this pick and this. And take Gavin McKenna. You know, if he sucks, it turns out he's a bust. Such is life. Yeah. You just take the guy that was always going to be the first pick.
It's a good free roll when you do that, because there's like, you pick the guy who was consensus, and if he's a bust, that's it. But if you reach on a guy and he's a bust, then you passed on the consensus pick. He could end up being good, and you end up screwing yourself. You can free roll yourself right there with the first pick with your first pick as a Leafs GM, John Chayka, you can do that. I just worry about the Swedish guy because Matt Sundin is Swedish and we got all that stuff. But anyways,
he might end up being a great player too. You never know. But like I've already seen the Galaxy brain takes this more. It's like you're shipping out Nylander and the first overall pick and getting back like the 4th overall pick players. It's like 5-way trades that are going on. It's like, what are we doing here, people? What are we doing? You lucked into the number 1 pick, and there's a top talent available at number 1 that we've been talking about for 5 years. Just pick the fucking guy at this point.
Yeah. Let's just hope they don't fuck it up. Whenever you don't go best player available, you end up like New Jersey when they went, I think it was Nemec, and they passed on Cooley for Nemec. It's like,
But the Shane Wright draft.
Yep.
He was consensus number 1.
That's true.
And Montreal went Slafkovsky, and that turned out right for them. But Shane Wright was not like, and when we're talking about like the list like Shane Wright wasn't, like a Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. He was more like, I don't know, a Baker Mayfield, I guess, as a number 1 pick, right? It wasn't like so I don't know. We'll see. This is still a long ways away, but my adrenaline last night, like the dopamine, it kicked in. I got home. I watched half hour of just reaction videos to people seeing. I saw those losers in Vancouver, like So Money, just crying like, oh no, Toronto again. And it brought so much joy to my heart. So much joy. Well, and we're back, baby.
We're back. We're back. It only took 1 year to tank. Shout out to Craig Berube. Shout out to Brad Treliving. I did message So Money. I said, "So, are you okay?" ? And then I sent him the song "Angel" by Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of, and he just texted me back this morning and said, "I am dead. I am deceased." So, we're thinking about you, So Money. We're thinking about you, but not really. Like,
no, we're gonna celebrate. Like,
obviously.
if it was Vancouver, I would have sent So Money a message and said, congrats or whatever. I would have been mildly disappointed because there's no expectations for the Leafs to really get the first overall pick. But now that it's happened, screw Vancouver.
No.
Screw them all. That's it. That's the way sports work, Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Exactly. We were also so close. My brain's so toxic. Like, I think after the second ball was drawn, the Leafs were at like a 4%, and Seattle was at like 27% to get the first overall pick. And I'm like, would this not be the most Leafy thing for the team in 6th to get it instead of like we're 1 point away from it? Anyways, let's get into reactions from last night and talk about some games tonight. I want to talk about the Minnesota and Colorado series first because Minnesota's down 2-0 in the series, but it feels like they've put up a good fight. It feels like they can go blow for blow with this Colorado team. Are you interested at all in like these Minnesota series prices down 2 right now, or is this just Minnesota's goaltending just not going to hold up for the rest of the series?
I'm not, and it's mostly to beat Colorado. You need some luck. Colorado's the best team in the league. So you're not going to outplay them game after game, but you can hang in there. And I honestly think Minnesota for the first 2 games, like you said, Jason, they've been in there. The games haven't looked completely lopsided. But Joel Eriksson-Ek being out for the Wild is so massive. Like, look at them down the middle when Ryan Hartman is now like their first line center. You got Michael McCarron, like Nico Sturm. They don't have the depth at center. So you can't fire on Minnesota unless you get some confirmation that Eriksson-Ek is back in game 3. You got Jonas Brodin out of the lineup right now as well. Like, it's just 2 key pieces that are missing from the Wild against already the best team in the league. And unless that changes, I don't really have interest in the Wild at these series prices. I bet some of the Wild to win the West. I'm just kind of stuck on that at this point. But I don't know. Series has played fine, but the depth just isn't quite there for Minnesota. Like, they're a team that needs to go through this with a healthy a lineup, and I just don't see that right now. So, not to say it can't change. It can, and but am I interested in the series prices as they stand now? No.
Right now, Minnesota plus 590 at FanDuel to win the series. Series spread right now is at plus 2.5 for the Wild, plus 112. So it seems like what they're saying is Colorado's likely going to close this out in 5 here, or maybe 6. Let's get on to the next thing I want to talk about is Montreal and Buffalo. It's again the first crack at this series. A little bit shocked to see I mean, Montreal opened as the underdogs in the series. They're now almost a coin flip. Right now on FanDuel, minus 113 for the Sabres to win. Habs minus 106. Obviously, if that's the case, opening up the opening game at home here against Buffalo, Habs plus 108 on the money line. I feel like the Habs are a better team. I feel like the Habs are in a different class than the Buffalo Sabres. Do you feel like the market is right on this Sabres and Habs series?
So my series price, I'm 51.7% Buffalo, so I make Buffalo minus 107 for the series. It's really tough when you get into the playoffs because you're working with the games against one particular team, and you don't necessarily know whether or not a team looked better because they matched up well with a team than they did in the regular season. I think both Buffalo and Montreal, kind of in the average person's viewpoint right now, are maybe both overrated teams that end up playing one another. If you look at these teams in the regular season against playoff caliber opponents, they were both under 50% expected goal share. Now, obviously, there's injuries mixed in. There's a lot of stuff, that matters here. But honestly, I do view this as very much kind of a coin flip. If you asked me prior to the first round, I probably would have liked Buffalo more here. But Montreal played really well against Tampa, and I think really highly of the Lightning. And look, John Cooper, the top end talent that they have there, Vasilevsky and net. So I'm watching game one from the sidelines here, and we'll see what I'm really hoping happens. And I don't think it will, because I think we're going to see a lot of tight games. But what would be great is if we saw one of these teams blow out the other tonight, and potentially create some value on the other side going forwards. But I think if you treat every one of these games kind of like it's a coin flip, almost like dog or nothing in this series, I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, I think also with the Montreal, the thing that shocked me the most, or what I took away from their series against Tampa Bay, was how good Dobish looked. Like, he looked like he was steady, and I think that it's so hard to quantify goaltending, and it's like he's only played, 60 career games, maybe less. So this might be our first look at wow, this guy's actually really good. We just didn't know about it until now.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, Jason, there was a goalie coach change for Montreal. I don't remember exactly when it was. I want to say January, but pre-change and post-change, Dobish's numbers have been outstanding. And listen, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but he looked really good in round one, with the exception of what game I was at. Can't remember what game I was at in Montreal. I let in a garbage goal on a wrist shot from the top of the circle. But outside of that, really didn't let any weak ones in. Kept the team in there. Went toe to toe with another great goalie on the other side of things. So I'm with you. That's kind of an underrated aspect here, where they are getting goaltending at the right time. It kind of goes back to what that article I wrote before the playoffs, where it's everyone wants to just pick the best goalies. It's you need goaltending to win. Well, you do need goaltending to win, but it might just come from a completely unknown source.
Yeah, and we might be looking back, like we said, a couple months from now, being wow, this Dobish guy is actually the real deal. So good luck to Montreal in that series, Buffalo. It's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Next game I want to talk about, Anaheim, Vegas. We only got a couple more minutes here, so I'll try and hammer through this one. Vegas feels like they were able to dictate the pace in this game much better than they did earlier on in the series against the Utah Mammoth. And if Vegas is going to be dictating the pace in my eyes, I like that under 6.5. Do you feel like the total of 6.5 juiced under right now, minus 120? I believe it's moved since the show started. Do you feel like that's, if you had to lean, is that the side you would go with here?
I don't know, honestly. I thought the first game played really open. Where I like to deviate is on a venue change sometimes, because I think last change can really, affect things here. I'm not high on the Ducks whatsoever, but I think the Ducks at this price are borderline a play in this game. I thought in game one, they generated some decent quality chances overall. I didn't think it was a lopsided game one way or another. And at this price, kind of willing to take a shot. Carlson had some great opportunities in that game. I thought that they were around it overall. So that's the way I would look here. I'm a little bit concerned with the under here, because Anaheim just plays so wide open, generally speaking. Granted, it's not Edmonton this time around, but yeah, no strong opinion on the total. I'm probably going to end up betting a half unit here on the Ducks. I think plus 140 or better, I can justify that, because I don't think Vegas is like a freight train years past at all. And Anaheim surprised me in game one. They kept up they kept up a lot of the offensive creation that they had against Edmonton.
Yeah, it feels like Vegas is getting like a little bit too much respect, but I don't think I have the stones to lay the series at least for Anaheim to win it. Right now, Vegas minus 360 with one game up on the Ducks. Ducks plus 280 to win their series. Plus 140 is out there, 134 on FanDuel. Maybe you can wait and get a 140 on FanDuel, but yeah, plus 140 is the price you need. Rob, I'm going to ask you to pull up the Conn Smythe odds, and let's just say you get a bonus bet in your account. It's just sitting in there. If there's a player you have to pick right now on that board, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Who would you take to win the Conn Smythe? Obviously Mitch Marner, but other than Mitch Marner, who would you take to win the Conn Smythe?
Yeah, so I'm pulling them up right now, and man, it's just so tough because Colorado and Carolina seem like such a high likelihood of making the finals. I would probably go off the board in the East and go somewhere. Honestly, Dobish would probably be a decent option right now. If Montreal makes a cup run, 35-1. I mean, it's sort of borderline, but if you're asking me if I had a dart and I could throw a flyer on something right now, that's where I would go. Just because the way that the first round played out, you got a lot of contribution from everywhere, really. And I think if Montreal does make a run to the finals and they hang in there, that a lot of the credit's going to go to Dobish.
Yeah, a lot of the credit will go to Dobish. Like also with this Montreal team, the scoring isn't like concentrated on just like one line or a couple players. It really is spread out throughout the team. Love that look in Dobish. Rob, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. Any final thoughts before you head out? Yeah, you have something for us? I
do. A famous man, legend of the Vegas Super Contest game, once said that hockey is just a version of soccer, but it's played on ice with a puck and sticks. It's famously said by Steve Fezzik. So I'm going to give out a soccer pick.
All right.
Because if you could bet hockey, you can obviously bet soccer. It's the same game, just one's played on a sheet of ice, one's on the pitch. To qualify for the next round today, I mean, we watched this in off. We watched Bayern and PSG in office last week. The game was nuts. I'm taking Bayern to qualify for the final at minus 120 at FanDuel. I think Bayern is better than PSG as a whole. I know they needed 2 late goals to make this a contest, but it's going back to Germany. I have Bayern futures from earlier. Thank you, Drunken Goon, Adrian, for recommending some of that stuff. But I like Bayern to advance, so I'm betting them today, and I'm going to put my perfect soccer record on the line, Jason.
Got to be careful of that. I'm going PSG with my perfect soccer record, so one record will be broken here today. Should be fun. Hey, PSG's up 1 goal. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen right now?
I'll tell you. I know what's going to happen.
All right, there we go. The script has been leaked. Rob, appreciate you joining the show.
All right, thanks, Jay.
Great stuff. There obviously no script. That's not real. That's a joke. That's a joke. Anyways, if you like that segment, do us a favor, smash the like button. Goes a long way. Just before we get into our next guest here, got a Circles Off video dropping on the Circles Off YouTube channel at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's with Plus EV Analytics. It's part of our series called Legendary Loopholes, where he discusses an SGP, an NBA SGP he found just by clicking some buttons. So just a reminder and like a good way to, one, learn about ways to find, I don't want to call them loopholes, but find some edges from sports books, and a good reminder to click around. It's a good little bit of inspiration as we close out the NBA and NHL season halfway through round 2 of the playoffs. After that, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Forward Progress is live. We're going to be discussing the offensive rookie and the defensive rookie of the markets. We talked a little bit about that with with George last week. They're going to go a lot more in depth. You can get in there live with a ton of questions. Fire your questions at them, because I think the defensive rookie of the year market is pretty wide open. Saw the same thing last year, and we got to find that 30-1 Carson Schweschinger to bet this early out in the year. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern time on the Forward Progress YouTube channel, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the Circles Off YouTube channel. Our second guest is a Chargers superfan, a golf aficionado, and a potentially reformed Leafs fan. Geoff, how's it going?
What up, Jay?
Just a little more. Nothing much. Got to ask you, you're from Toronto, born and raised. You were a big. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were a big Leafs fan growing up, and that puts you in like the late '90s, early 2000s, probably like a little closer to the early 2000s. Matt Sundin, that was our best player.
I had a flag at the Air Canada Center like before everyone had one, and I was in the Toronto Star after Game 5 of the first round series. Yannick Perreault scored in overtime, waving my flag, and then that picture was like blasted onto one of the pillars in like the entryway that they've sort of remodeled now, but the pillars still exist because they're the foundation of the building.
So wait, it's game 5. Which series was it?
The first year at the Air Canada Center.
Okay.
Versus the Philadelphia Flyers.
And it was in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. That's crazy stuff there.
Go find that.
I will do my best to find
that picture, and then it was like blasted outside of the stadium the next year.
That's awesome stuff.
They like decorated for All-Star Weekend.
Okay, I'm buried somewhere on the Leafs Instagram, celebrating a goal against. It was the 3 years ago Florida series.
Time I was as hardcore like Chargers Leafs. Who'd you rather win? And I'd answer that the same way I answered you asking me about that stupid red versus blue bullshit. I go, I don't engage in loser hypotheticals. So yeah, there was a time where like I'd have taken a bullet for like Matt Sundin is my captain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And my wife joked with me last night, or no, not last night.
2 nights
ago. The night of the announcement, the Sunday press conference. Yeah. That like, am I in it? She was curious, like, are you in again? Because she's smart enough to know that like Matt's reputation is important to me. So therefore, like, I guess I'm in slightly more, and then that's exciting. They got the pick. It's exciting they got the pick. But yeah, if this goes totally sideways, Matt's is gonna wear like a really long, ugly stank.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want like, that's not cool. That'd be like telling me in like 15 years, like Phillip Rivers coming back to like run the Bolts.
And they end up just like going 4 years, worst team in the league.
Yeah, and
like
then he becomes like some laughing stock situation. Maybe he's, anyhow. So it's I'm happy for people. I was happy to see that they won. Is good. It's good. And as much as how do I put this? Like, as much as I don't like, now the Habs fans are getting all like the shine, and the Leafs just be like, no, you'll have like a second round exit. We got first overall. Like, we're kind of back. Yeah. It's so funny, man. It's so funny. I'm very entertained by all of it. I'm happy for you guys.
All right. I'm happy for us. If you had to
next
pick,
year when you invite me to a game, maybe I won't turn it down.
I will definitely invite you to the game. If you had to pick one, watch Vladdy lift whatever the trophy's called, the World Series Championship, whatever. I don't know if there's a name for the trophy. But would you rather that or watch Matt Sundin lift the Stanley Cup?
I don't engage in like.
Oh my god, you suck! You actually so red or blue?
I don't engage. I don't like hypotheticals. I'm like very anti-hypothetical. I just feel like let's deal with what's in front of us, not these made up scenarios. Remember, I got mad at you. It was like week 14. They're like NFL games. I wanted to hear you and Whale Capper talk about, and you're asking about hypothetical matchups. I sent you a message. I chewed you out, I think.
You did, because we were talking about the Chiefs making the playoffs. They didn't end up making. We were like,
oh, that was probably another part of it. There's a great segment to Whale Capper shout out, because Jason, you gave me the pick for the Roses, the Friday night race last week. What are they called? The Phillies.
The Phillies, yes.
I asked you 10 minutes before the race, who should I pick? I assume you would just give me Whale Capper's pick, and that's what I hope I got. And,
no, for the Oaks?
Yeah, that was your pick?
No, that was oh my gosh, his name is slipping my mind here. We had someone on the Friday show.
It was Ed DeRosa.
Shout out Ed DeRosa.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got you the right one. I don't know. It was anyways, I might have sent you the wrong one, but it worked out for you.
Oh yeah, it worked. Winner, and I was out for dinner the next night. I didn't even bet the Derby, so I went 1-0 on races.
All right, you're a sharp horse better now. I'm gonna have to add that to the title. Let's get into things with this Geoff on Golf segment. Before we do that, you have like a little qualm with the PGA maybe, or like the branding of things, because we have a major next week, but I feel like no one's talking about it.
So I don't have like an issue with the branding, or any of that, but I would just, to the point you made, and maybe the more casuals, I'm locked in. I live this shit, but there's like no buzz. We got a major next week, and I think that's entirely due to the schedule. We just have gone from, we had the Masters and the Heritage, which was elevated, Zurich, which was muck team, and then we've had back-to-back elevated. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like it one bit. The thing I'm looking forward to the most next week, Jason, would be just seeing like live guys squirm, having to probably do media in front of like the PGA shows. So that is what I'm looking forward to the most. Although, you could call me Brad Powers with what I like. When Brad Powers is 2 touchdown favorites in games, and then they're like underdogs, and then they're pick'ems or something by game day. 3 months later, my PGA Championship futures are out of this world. As a Cameron Young, Matt Fitzpatrick guy gave those out in January. So I don't even know what I'm supposed to do next week, but Pizzola and Myrtle have asked me to host the show again. So we're going to have some props, some funds with the props again. We're going to go a little shorter. It's not the Masters. I've done content long enough to know the PGA Championship just doesn't squeeze like the Masters on a content front. That's an obvious statement, I would think. That doesn't mean there's not bets and money to be made, though. The book is still there to be exploited, hopefully.
Yeah, no, and we will definitely be doing that. I think I'll be producing that show as well next week, Tuesday. If we can make this like a...
I haven't started on it, so I haven't...
Well, you have to start with if it's not a hassle for the people who won. Everyone who won has to come back.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. There'll be a lot of requests.
The 60 to 1.
I've got to cycle in some new people.
Yeah,
maybe couldn't do it. Right, but then Jay, like I go 2 shows, I didn't invite you. I'm probably gonna, get some feelings ruffled. But that's big boy stuff.
That's all right. It's all right. You're an adult. You can handle that stuff, and you're good at handling that stuff as a former producer, someone who would schedule.
I'm actually not good at it.
Oh.
Maybe I've gone soft. I think I've gone soft.
You're just too nice. You're too nice. You honestly scream blue button so hard. Let's get into. Don't worry about it. We don't go into hypotheticals.
Blue button.
Yeah.
When you don't play those games, it doesn't click. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the 2 tournaments we have this weekend. We have the Myrtle Beach Classic, the Truist Championship. Myrtle Beach a little bit more of an open field. Truist a little bit of a narrower field, we'll call it, because the big guns are in there: Rory, Cam Young, Xander, Ludwig Aberg, like tons of the big guns here. Which one do you want to start? Let's start with the Myrtle Beach Classic. Anything you like? You're giving me a look. Anything you like
that
there?
Up. Sorry, that's my fault. I wasn't prepared.
We can go to the Truist. We can go to Truist.
No, that's fine. Listen, Myrtle Beach is pretty exciting. It's probably the tournament where I've got a little more invested in the outright market this week. I thought there might be a little more opportunity. When we get to the Truist, I would just say these elevated events, Jason. Historically, I feel like the ones that happen outside of major season, like the ones that happen before the Masters has occurred, or the ones that happen after the Open Championship, closer to the FedEx Cup, I feel like those sometimes get clipped from like further down the board. These ones, like once major season starts, no. To me, these guys are also effing locked in. They're all so effing locked in that I'm not saying I got the winner for you or that it's an easy cap, but I'm not worried about got from down the board. Myrtle Beach, we can have a little more fun. I'll just, I guess, quit. I'm not going to bet my boy Rasmus Njergaard Pedersen, so we're in on him in the mid-30s. Marco Pange, 25-1 that we like. Adrien Dumont de Chaussee, guess he'll be I was going to say he's French, but no, he's Belgian, from Belgium. So he probably won't be.
Is that where someone who's Belgian is from? Belgium?
He's Belgian.
Okay.
What do you call the locals?
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I got confused. I was going to make hook it back to the soccer game, but then I realized he's not French. I tailed Pizzola, though, not you.
Okay.
You think that's going to be a mistake?
No, I know dick all about soccer.
Okay. So ADDC, and then a little further down the board, Carl Phillips that we've hit on this week. So I'm just betting like big hitters, big hitters in Myrtle Beach. That's sort of where I'm going. Guys that can really bully their way around the course. That's not to say a shot maker can't dominate there. But I feel more comfortable with that profile winning here. We saw Ryan Fox essentially bully that course. It felt like a year ago. And I'd probably rather watch this event than the Truist. But over at the Truist, Jay, I told you, there's not these elevated events. Like, I don't get suckered into the back of the board. If someone's going to clip it, then I'm just going to give them, congratulations. Good for you. I've made 2 bets this week. Shout out. Thanks for shouting out my Cameron Young selection.
I was about to do that.
We love Cameron Young. We hopefully doesn't burst another load this week so he can cash for us next week at the PGA Championship. But I've bet Xander Schauffele, who has contended here plenty. He blew a 6-stroke lead to Rory a few years ago. Early in the week, that was 13-1. It seems like that's gotten shrunk a bit. And Ludwig Aberg at 18. And as we sit here today, I'm not thrilled about that pick. Well, I love Ludwig. Part of me, how do I put this? I think right now, if I were betting this tournament, Matthew Fitzpatrick probably shouldn't be shorter than Ludwig Aberg. And now today I've seen they've shrunk into the same at 1,600. So that would probably be the way to go. And I'm doing something dangerous here. Rory's won here 4 times, Jay. He hasn't played since the Masters. I have just made the decision that I'm not betting him this week.
Okay.
Granted, he's the favorite and the number is short. You got to give me reasons to not giving me. It's all about just finding reasons not to bet a guy. Okay. And here's the problem. We did a Masters show. We had a lot of great picks. Rory won. We didn't have him. We didn't have him. Part of that cap for a lot of people, including myself, was took him X amount of years to clip it. Now he's coming back as the past champion. Past champions don't really go back to back here at the Masters. We're just sort of going to fade. We're not shocked that he won, but from a betting situation, we felt like we needed to fade that. At least I did. And look what happened. Last year after he won the Masters, the whole season sort of got away from him. And you could see why. He carried that, got that monkey off his back. For a lot of us who thought that maybe he could freewheel the rest of the year, house money, he didn't really do anything. The rest of major season was a nothing burger for him. Are we concerned? It's almost like you got to play psychologist a little in this, because he has the talent, but the second time around, last year he already did that sort of fairy tale parade. Maybe this year he's way more locked in and is going to clip something else.
Yeah, no, and also, do we know if he's going to be flying out every day to go play this course and then get home, make it home before dinner? You don't like that? Hearing that?
No, I mean, I hate that was a thing. I honestly don't even understand. They'll let anyone go, and he's also a past champion.
Yeah.
I really was confused how people.
Well, you hated the fact that people said that it was an unfair advantage.
It just felt like such an only. People who know golf like golf, or maybe even sports fans, weren't saying that, but it felt like there was a parade of casuals who got behind that.
Yeah, you can never listen to the casuals, though. I will say, Geoff, I never got to comment this on the show because I was away the week after that he won the Masters. Is Rory on your Mount Rushmore? And I'm talking real Mount Rushmore, because everyone who talks about Mount Rushmore is it's your top 4 best all time. That's not what Mount Rushmore is. The Mount Rushmore represents 4 things. It's foundation, expansion, development, and preservation. And I don't think there's a better guy in all of golf to represent preservation than Rory.
I don't know like what this whole profound intro was, but yeah, Rory McIlroy is incredible. I believe the future is going to be much kinder to him than maybe the present was. The first major I ever did, like while podcasting golf, was when he won his PGA Championship. And then it felt like the whole, as like golf podcasting and sort of blew up. And I'm just like, obviously podcasting in general, but that ecosystem of like hyper niche focus, like he never won a major. That being said, there's so many great players, all of them outside of a couple who had like dips in a career and then like came back for a second life. He never had a dip. Like he didn't win majors. He always contended. He was there, almost felt like once or twice a year to the finish. Couldn't get over that line. But the amount of, I'm not here to glad hand the FedEx Cup. I don't know that it's a true marking of what they want it to be. But like he won like 3 like he never wasn't a great player. He never had like winless droughts, like ever really. So yeah, he is everything that you say, and he's, I think getting another major would be important so he could be the winningest European golfer of all time. Yeah, I think that will be important to him.
I'm so annoyed. I'm not annoyed. I'm sad that you didn't like my little preamble there about the.
I didn't really. You lost me for a bit. I didn't know whether you were asking me for my like. No, I didn't know what. Listen. You got like there's smarter guys you speak to here. Maybe you can set them up with that.
Well, it's just
they take it, but I didn't bite. Going a little further down the board, maybe guys who will make like a little T5, T10 bet on Jay.
Talk to me.
No one. I mean, you look at this thing and you're like, how on earth is Alex Smalley this price? He should be way more. You'd look at the numbers. No one is striping the ball better than Alex Smalley. So he's a guy that I'm looking at, as well as we crossed off Smalley, Kitayama, Puck Eater.
Say that again. Collie who?
Kitayama
and
Aldridge, Puck Eater.
All right. That's it.
Give me like T10s and T20s on all 3 of those guys.
All right.
This week. And you can judge me on that. But honestly, the win, like it's just muck. I'm going to lose. Next week we got a major. Money next week. I hate these elevated events.
Tuesday.
Get a winner last week with Cam Young. Lovely. But even off a win, like I'm like slightly exposing myself.
All right. I love that. But Tuesday next week.
Yeah, Tuesday next week. I can't really preview who's going to be on it because I don't know yet. But we're going to have golf props for 2 straight hours.
Can I request one guest?
Anyone you want.
Blue Horseshoe.
I don't know. He doesn't even do golf.
Doesn't matter.
You'd have to clear that one up. You have to clear that one up the chain. I don't even know if I have that sort of authority. And I wouldn't look. I wouldn't even. I don't know. Thought you were going to give something else.
Or maybe TA. But anyways, Geoff, appreciate you joining the show.
For sure.
Appreciate you joining the show. Chats.
I don't know. He seemed a little coy and I had so many people, but I don't know. I'm going to run this back, and if we're doing it for the PGA Championship, Jay, it probably means we're going to be doing it for another one. But Xander Schauffele, like my one pick to win this week, my one and done. That's where we'll go this week. Xander Schauffele.
Xander Schauffele is the one plus 950 over at FanDuel. Geoff, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Geoff on Twitter at
Shop that one.
Fienberg.
You go to the store. You check out.
We always recommend going to the store. Never Uber Eats, never delivery. Just get there, get in person. Yeah.
But if you do deliver, tip.
Okay. All right. Geoff, appreciate you. Let's get on to our next guest here. Do us a huge favor. If you're enjoying the show so far, smash the like button. Comment down below if you're betting anything in these golf tournaments, or if you have some futures for the PGA Championship that you already have. Listen, we're just over a week out, and I wouldn't mind getting in a little bit of early action on the PGA Championship. All right. Our third and final guest. I don't know what he's doing. He's like traveling around the world. It seems like every single time he's on the show, he's in a different spot. He's a professional good boy, a C tier tier list maker and an NBA bettor, Mr. Peanut Bettor. How's it going? Not the mute. Double check that you're not muted. This is just outstanding disrespect to come on and just be muting yourself. Oh man, Peanut. Oh man, Peanut. We'll let him work through his audio issues in the background while he does that. I don't know if you guys saw, but Peanut did drop an official tier list. One more tier list. He said most likely to tip a homeless person, which is like, one of the craziest tier lists you can drop, considering everybody on that show, on that channel yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, whenever it was. All these guys are red button pressers. You're telling me a red button presser would ever tip, or not tip, but ever give a give a homeless person some money out of their pocket? I'm gonna go with the no. I'm gonna smash the -200 no on that one. Maybe we can bring up the tier list in just a second when Peanut comes on here. But yeah, this is just crazy work. Another thing I've noticed with this. Oh, we got him on. I don't think. There we go. It's working.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I was about to say another thing I noticed about all these tier lists, Peanut, is that you're like second or third highest in all of them. What's going on here?
Yeah, I make tiers about things I'm good at. I'm not going to put something I'm bad at. Obviously, I'm juicing the numbers. I'm also good at everything too. That helps.
I don't know.
Like, compared to you're last on everything because you're not good at things. Me, I'm good at things, so I go first.
I'm fast though, so
you are fast. You got first, and I put you there.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate that. I just don't understand. Like, you got to walk me through the logic on, and maybe I'll send this to Mike here, and you can pull it up on screen. You got to walk me through the logic of this tier list here, because I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand. First of all, how did you come up with the homeless guy giving a homeless person some money tier list? And then I've sent you so many other better ones, but like, you think Flup is going to give I love Flup. I think Flup's a great guy. Don't get me wrong.
He's the highest variance. Flup could give. He could either give a good amount of money, or he could just, totally be heartless. I'll tell you why I came up with the homeless list is because I was driving through, getting a pop, as we call it in Ohio, the great state, at McDonald's. A homeless person came up to me, asked me to buy them a Happy Meal for their kids. I bought the Happy Meal. They took the food out of the Happy Meal and then threw the rest down.
But what do you mean, like through the
just took the toy, and obviously it wasn't going to a child.
Yeah.
They took it. They played me. They said Happy Meal to get me, because they thought because it was a child, I would be more likely to buy it. Worked. I bought it. They immediately dropped the toy and everything else and just threw it in the parking lot. It was a big L for me.
Is this just a way for you to come on here and say, like, yeah, I was just out here helping the homeless, giving money out like a good Samaritan? Was that
You're the you asked me. I didn't. Nobody was gonna. I said why I made the list.
Okay, all right.
You're the one asking.
All right. I just don't think this is a good list, and I guarantee you, Jacob is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
I put him high on the list.
I guarantee you, he would not do this.
You don't give money ever to homeless people?
Well, part of the problem is I don't carry cash. So like, the
cash has changed the game.
Start carrying around like a little tap strip, and like maybe I would click, but like, I'll buy someone food if they ask, happily.
But Jacob, no.
I don't think
you don't think he would.
I don't think Jacob would. And this isn't a slight towards Jacob.
It sounds like a slight.
It's not a slight. I just think you have me way too low. But yeah, I also do tip service workers, by the way.
All you care about is your ranking.
100%.
You're like, this is a bad list. All that matters to you is where you're at.
Yeah, obviously. You got to let us know. Give us a preview. What's the next list? Then we'll get into NBA stuff right now.
I can't tell you. Come up with it on the spot.
I sent you like 3 or 4 good ones. You don't want to workshop mine?
You did. They're good. I don't know. I can't. It's what I'm in the mood for at the time. But okay. Yes, yours were good. I'll give you that.
All right. Hopefully we'll get around to them. Let's get into the games from last night. Put the tier list talking on the side. We got Pistons and Cavs were the early game. I know you're a big Cavs backer. Last night, Pistons got out to a huge early lead. They hold on to it throughout the game. It feels like some things went wrong for the Cavs, which we might not see game to game. Maybe they got a little bit of bad luck there. Allen in foul trouble. gave up so many free throws, fouled a ton there. Pistons, I think, had 35 free throws to 16 for the Cavs. Harden just played like absolute dog water. Are you quitting on this Cavs team, or is this like a good buy spot for them?
No, I'm not quitting on the Cavs. I think, like you said, that whatever happened in that game really, I don't think is like predictive moving forward of what I think the series will be. Allen foul trouble to me is the obvious one. When they played the dual bigs out there, they were actually looked pretty good defensively, and they basically didn't the rest of the game. So Detroit's up 1-0. They get that win. You don't have to give that back. But I don't think I saw anything in that series that makes me think, this is much better for Detroit much better for Detroit, like matchup wise, than I thought otherwise. So I'm not really dissuaded by that. I will say that Detroit seems able to play their stars for more minutes. Cade's able to play 41, 42 minutes. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden playing 36. Maybe that is a slightly bigger factor than I had coming in, but I really don't think, whatever happened last night is very predictive of what the series will be moving forward.
All right. I think that's a good point. So right now, Cavs plus 168 buy spot for them to win the series.
Yeah, probably. I would think that I would probably be looking to buy the Cavs at this point if I was kind of looking in that market. I think that the series prices are better than the Eastern Conference prices at this point in time, just based on what's on the other side of the bracket. So yeah, I would say Cavs series price is probably a slight buy at this point.
Yeah, you can get the Cavs plus 168, Cavs minus 1.5 plus 280 as well. Let's flip over and talk Lakers and Thunder. Some things really never do change. It's 20 years later, LeBron is still doing the same thing that he always does, just doing the darndest, trying to claw his team, his injury-riddled team, to another playoff run against essentially what is a super team. Any reaction to last night's game? Seems like the Lakers were able to keep it close early in the early going. Thunder just too much firepower, too much of a better team than this Lakers team. Any surprises from the first game here? Is this just status quo? Most likely Thunder sweep.
So I would push back a little on you said, some things never change as far as LeBron doing his darndest. Like the difference is 10 years ago, he might be able to have done it. It's just now he can't do it at the same level. He's 80% of the player he was, which is still an awesome player, but it's not a guy who can carry the full load for a series. He doesn't have the energy levels that he used to have in terms of being able to control every possession. So for him, he's going to have to pick and choose his spots. And when he's not choosing his spots, they just have no chance. On the other end of the ball, I thought there's some pretty interesting stuff there by LA. They came out and you just don't see teams trap at that level, what they were doing to SGA in the first half. I don't think it was such a weird defense that they don't see very often that I thought it was effective. It was a very good strategy to come out and try to junk this shit up or junk the game up. And, okay, I wasn't sure what we were allowed to do there, but junk the game up. But you just can't do that long term. So the fact that they're already throwing this kind of desperate defense out there shows that they know they're cooked. This series is just there's 0.000% chance that LA is able to. I don't even think that there's I think that pretty much every Thunder series price right now is good.
Yeah. You were about to say, I don't even think there's a chance they win one game, but you held yourself there for just a second. 0% chance that the Lakers win. Now I really need the Lakers to win because we can clip that up and fire that out. But listen, Lakers to win this series, I think they're 16, 17, 1800, maybe even worse than that.
I think some of those alt prices are. I would take a look at some of the Thunder minus 1.5, Thunder minus 2.5. I would have to look at the exact pricing on those to feel better about it, but that's the area that I would be looking at. Like I said, before the series, I took some sweep. I took some more sweep. It's moved from plus 110 to minus 105. I think still good. And yeah, I would go ahead and kind of hammer those.
Yeah, sweep minus 115. Oklahoma minus 2.5, minus 500. Oklahoma minus 1.5, minus 1250. The people love OKC. Let's get into the games for tonight. Sixers, Knicks, Timberwolves, Spurs. Any opinions for tonight's game? Obviously, if you like the Spurs, is this a situation where you should probably be betting their series prices if you like them in the game? And then same thing, same question for the Knicks and the Sixers here. Would you be looking towards some series prices, or is there any opinion you have just on the games for tonight?
I wouldn't be looking at series prices necessarily if I was interested in the Spurs. And is still coming back off that minutes limit, or still has a minutes limit coming back from that knee injury. He only played 25 minutes last night, and like even then, it seemed like he was kind of picking his spot. So I think there's reason to like the Spurs in this game more than you can need to necessarily like them on the series long price. For Philadelphia, New York, yeah, I think New York seemed like they were the much better team in their first matchup. I don't know how much Philly can do considering how much they played the starters in the first half of the game and basically how much they relied on those guys. So, yeah, I would be looking, if I was kind of looking at these two different prices, I think Spurs game is probably an area to attack more than Spurs series, relative to price. And then looking at the Philadelphia, New York, I don't think it totally matters because I think New York is kind of just a cut above.
Yeah, and it seems like zigzag theory in play here for the Spurs game, not the Knicks game, as the Knicks are taking, I think, a little bit more money and a little bit of a bigger spread than it was in that first game there. Before you head out, I have a question about some awards markets. I was just looking at the Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It feels like in the Eastern Conference Finals, Jalen Brunson right now plus 160, Cade Cunningham plus 200, Donovan Mitchell plus 600. It feels like the guys at the top of the board are kind of soaking up too much equity because it feels like in the East, it's not like super dominant. These teams aren't just one guy and that's it. They have other guys on their team who can score, who can put up numbers and have a chance in like a 7-game series to shine and be the best player in that series. Is there anyone you would take? Do you feel like there's getting too much equity soaked up by these the number one players on these teams?
Nope, I would go the opposite way. I think that these guys, Jalen Brunson's like a heliocentric star that's going to have the ball all the time versus the Cavs and versus the Detroit Pistons. Same thing for Cade Cunningham. And then on the other side, like with SGA just got like basically a high school defense was played against him where they were trying to trap him and get the ball out. And yet he still managed to put up a decent game. I just don't think that you can run like a more drastic style change for those. Another thing about these series is they are likely to go 7 games, or not 7 games, but I think they're likely to be long series. In my opinion, the longer the series, the less likely you get, one of those weird examples of guys kind of jumping up and taking the minutes. So I would actually go with the chalky favorites here as far as the conference MVPs.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We saw that last year though with Pascal Siakam, right? He wouldn't have been the
correct. We did. But I would say that like Halliburton had a way of affecting the game in a more like less stats dominant way.
Okay.
And really it's a points, rebounds, assist award.
Yes.
And like Jalen Brunson is going to dominate the ball in a way. So yeah, I do think last year was there was a higher chance of seeing something along those lines. Now, like maybe you could talk me in if you like Spurs and there was someone down the ladder you think that you could do. God, Wemby's going to be really hard. It's going to be hard to do it. I guess the one where I would probably agree with you is I would probably take a look at the Timberwolves guys. If there's a decent chance, if they are somehow able to get through the freaks that are the Thunder and the Spurs, then I would start to look at the kind of lower options on the board. But I think for, Detroit, New York, OKC, like those teams are just, their point guard's going to have the ball a lot.
Okay, I was going to flip over and talk Western Conference Finals MVP. I just wanted to ask you about Chet Holmgren at 70-1 because it seems like they're going to be playing the Spurs. I know the matchup is going to be tough for him, but if you can put Wemby in a box, do you think that maybe that might accent things a little bit more where it's not just the points, rebounds, assists, awards, but it's also okay, Chet Holmgren was able to put up a decent amount of points, a healthy amount of counting stats, and put in a box one of the best players in the league in Victor Wembanyama.
And you have to think that J-Dub's going to be limited with that hamstring injury as he comes back, so Chet's more into the second option. I actually would go the other way in terms of opponent. I see what you're saying with the Wemby part of it, but I just think that that's a really tough matchup for him. I would say if they face the Timberwolves somehow and he's able to play Rudy Gobert, who's a very help style defender and kind of wants to do that. So if the Timberwolves are able to kind of gain series equity on the Spurs, then maybe I would start to look at the Chet Holmgren factor.
Yeah, you saw my eyes go big there because in the chat, Gritty Man just mentioned Embiid is out, and we're seeing 12.5s pop right now on the Knicks. Any instant reaction to that? Seems like did you have a Sixers bet based on that reaction?
No, I did not get in some of the. I was trying to bet some things that were looking like they might be very good if that was the case.
Okay.
And I didn't because I had to come on this show and talk to you,
so
Jason.
Sorry. Well, for those of you guys, those of you out there, a lot of the stuff is off the board. Oh, nope, just popped on FanDuel. Right now, market's at 10.5, minus 112 for the Knicks, minus 430 for the Knicks. Total's at 213.5. I'm so sorry. Like, listen, it's already gone now. You might as well just give us your instant reaction. Guns to your head, minus 10.5, minus 112 the Knicks, plus 10.5, minus 108 for the Sixers. Which side would you take right now? Force to click.
Gun to my head, I would say take the Sixers. I think that Embiid, he was obviously huge option for him. They were basically running everything through the big fella, but they just seemed to play a little bit different stylistically with him out. So,
all right.
Yeah, I would say take the 76ers.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Appreciate you joining the show, Peanut. Sprint Actual in the chat. Love that you mentioned Jalen Brunson is a heliocentric star. What a term you pulled out there. Good stuff.
Big words,
Big words. Maybe that's the next tier list. Who can pull out the most big words? Mike, Mr. Peanut Better, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Peanut on Twitter at @peanut_better. Hope you can get some good prices in. We'll talk soon.
See ya.
Great stuff there from Peanut as always. I'm laughing. I feel so bad. I mean, but hey, honestly, that's his fault. He said he was looking at prices beforehand. What was he like? Just click then. Click there's asymmetric upside, as the kids say. If you feel like you have a strong opinion on Embiid beating out there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We had some great couple of lists of guests. Shout out to Peanut. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Geoff. Before we head out here, dog of the day. Woof, 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 woof. I am going to go with my mortal enemy, the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, to beat the Buffalo Sabres tonight at plus 108. I mentioned it. I teased it a little bit when I talked to Rob. I really think Dobish is a lot better than the market is giving him credit for. This is just what my eyes see, and I really like the way that this Montreal team plays as well. I think Buffalo's matchup against Boston, I think they were buoyed a little bit by how injured that Boston team was in that series. So I'm a little bit down on the Sabres after the first round, up on the Habs. So give me the Habs on the road, plus 108 to win the first game of that series. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. One more time, smash the like button. Goes a long way. If you're new to the channel, I'll hit the subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys are betting. Whether it be on the PGA Championship next week, whether it be on the NBA games tonight, NHL games tonight, or any futures you like. Heck, it can even be like an NFL future. You bet on the Chargers to win the championship, to win the NFL, then you let us know down below. Or you could also let us know in our Discord, which we've been chatting about. And oh man, the Discord was on me after that first period under there. That stuff happens. I still think I'm still gonna say that was the good side. That was the right side there. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're listening on audio formats, rate and review 5 stars, and that's it. That wraps up today's show. My name is Jason Cooper. You've been watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Bang Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.